Everyone, we would like to welcome you to this edition of Street Politics. We would like to introduce our special guest today, Richard Starr, former candidate of Ward 5. We'll be discussing his campaign, what we think went wrong. Well, it's a lot of breaking news just happened now. Rod Rosenstein just indicted 13 Russians on interfering with the election. This is going on as we speak. And also, we want to talk about the Florida school shooting and about gun reform. Well, Mr. Starr, you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Oh, before you do that, please like and share. Please like and share this. Thank you. And subscribe.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you. You basically said it. I am Richard Starr. Ran for City Council Ward 5 election last year. We didn't win. There's some things went on that we wanted to correct. So as far as the election, that's over with right now, but we still have more work that we need to do inside of Cleveland Ward 5.
Okay. So what was you doing before you decided to run for Ward 5, Councilman Ward 5?
My background is Boys and Girls Club Youth Development Professional.
Right.
So since 2008, I've been working for the Boys and Girls Club movement, giving back to the community, as well as helping our young people as they progress into themselves and grow into wonderful residents as well as citizens. So I've been working with the Boys and Girls Club. I serve as the club director for East Tech Teen Center, which just opened in August, as well as King Kenny Boys and Girls Club. And I am the athletic director for Boys and Girls Clubs of Cleveland.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a lot of great things, especially we need that down the way with all that's going on with these kids, my kids, just the youth period.
One day at a time.
So let's dig into the campaign. Okay, you was running against Councilwoman Phyllis Cleveland. She's been in the councilwoman in that ward since January 2006. Which she represents Central Neighborhood, Kinsman, Midtown, and parts of downtown. What is Midtown?
Midtown is over there in Euclid, over there by Euclid. You
really?
know where the New Dave's is going to be relocated from Payne, right up in that area.
So they about to close the one on Payne?
Yes, so they're supposed to be moving it to
that
Euclid.
Is our down the way.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be moving it over there. They actually broke ground in there.
Where is it on Euclid?
Off of... Is it 68, 69 front up in there?
Oh,
so that's Midtown.
That is going to be a blow to the people down the way. That is our grocery store. Been our grocery store since we was babies. Like y'all about to take it and move it somewhere else. And I don't really too much care for the one on 40 because they hijacked the prices up. Ridiculously. Like it's just something else. So, running for campaigns, it can get a little nasty. It can get a little dirty. People come out the woodwork with all kind of stuff. But it's mighty funny before we get into that, let me just say this. Okay, I grew up down the way, you grew up down the way. I never in my life met Phyllis Cleveland. I had to look her up to see what she even looked like. I don't remember her coming. Since she'd been in since 2006, I think I was still living in the projects because my son had to be 5 years old. Yes, I was still down the way because when I moved off on 30th, I moved on 40th. So I think she still was the councilwoman around that time. Like, I don't know nothing about her. I don't know what she did or anything. Do you know any legislation she signed on or anything she passed? Like, what have she done for Ward 5?
Wow, since we talking street politics.
I just want to be honest.
Just to be honest, I would say one thing is my mom always told me to be a respectful gentleman as a woman. I actually grew up and went to school with her daughter. So as far as work, we talking about more so work which has been done. Signing your name on something that is already in the works does not mean you did the work. And some of the development that we have in place are things that our councilman that we had prior to Ms. Cleveland's serving of the Ward 5, Mayor Frank Jackson, already had in working. So some things that have been going on in the community, was, in agreement of Frank Jackson. But some of the things that I will talk about, will just to tell you the background of the politics of everything is, when you think of people who are city council people or city councilwoman and who are involved in the things that you want in the community, you have to be active, engaged, in the community, so you can know that you're making the right vote and the right decision on things that goes on in the community. I could touch on the dirt bike issue. When you think of the dirt bike and you're thinking about the residents in the Garden Valley neighborhood, as well as Precinct C over there, St. Hyans, you think about their concerns, and when you say, "Hey, I want to put a dirt bike park in your neighborhood," without talking to the residents, and when you talk to the residents, they then tell you that is not a good decision, that is not a great thing. When you think about Garden Valley, they been lobbying and active talking about they need a rec center or some after school programming in their community, as opposed to a dirt bike park. You agreeing to vote on something without the people support, that just shows some type of lack of engagement. So as far as legislative, if you do some research and look on certain things, you will see some comments that was made from Councilwoman Cleveland in regards to even the minimum wage increase possibly going to $15, and in which it was something similar to stating that people in the Ward 5 would be happy or would love to make minimum wage if they could, or will be appreciative of that. Things like that just show you're not in tune to the people. And even if you living in Ward 5 or even if you stand there, doesn't mean you're in tune. You have to actively get engaged,
Right.
actively work. And for you to be a resident of Ward 5 or grew up in Ward 5, as well as myself, as well as some of my friends, colleagues, and different activists, for people to have to Google to figure out who you are or to look up you, it says a lot about what you have or have not done.
So basically, she ain't did nothing. I mean, because you look at this. Well, I think a lot of stuff that's going on with the youth is because they don't have nothing to do, and also us as parents, we give them too much leeway, because I'm dealing with the same thing with my son. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we grew up in a bathhouse. Like everybody from 30th, we met at the bathhouse. We met outside the bathhouse. It was always the bathhouse. Buddy took us everywhere. Heaven Train came and took us to church.
Man, what?
Free
kids
lunch.
Church, remember all
Yeah,
that?
kids church. Like that's what we was engaged in. But now they took everything away. You go in the bathhouse, it's ridiculous. But I had a talk with Mayor Frank Jackson about that. He said it's funding available, but they haven't released it. I'm like, why? And y'all wonder why these kids don't have nothing to do, so they run to the streets. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have nothing to do. So when y'all was doing y'all campaign, before then, she was a what kind of word can I say? Because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm trying to be respectful too, because I don't want to come off, you know what I'm saying, just saying anything.
We street politics.
But yeah, I got to keep it real. So saying that, she wrote you a letter of recommendation back in 2016. So this was just 2 years ago. You was just running in 2017. So 2016, she ran against you. I'm going to read the letter. Then I'll get into why I'm reading the letter. To whom it may concern, I am pleased to write this letter of recommendation from Richard Starr, who is applying for a position of the Director of Peacemaker Alliance. I have known Mr. Starr for many years. I have watched him develop from childhood to a student leader at East Technical High School and the Boys and Girls Club to the Director of King Kennedy Boys and Girls Club. I have interacted with Mr. Starr on a personal and professional level. He is intelligent, he is hardworking, and has been understanding of the urban youth. Mr. Starr grew up in the same environment as most of the youth and young adults served by the Peacemakers Alliance. His upbringing give him a level of trust that would take years for other persons to develop. He has learned to transcend his life challenges and build them into his work into the community. His recent promotion of Director of the Boys and Girls Clubs has been broadened his skill sets as leadership ability. Richard Starr has a unique set of skills, experience, and perspective that I believe would serve him well as Director of Peacemaker Alliance. Sincerely, Phyllis E. Cleveland. Now those are some very powerful, strong, encouraging words like, hey, this is the guy. Like if you want anybody else in this position, this is the guy to have it in. But I'm gonna tell you something about people. They give you all the recommendations in the world until you coming for something that they got. Or want something that they have. So she tried to bring up your background and try to paint you as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm gonna ask you, she actually sent out a telephone thing to residents about you.
So during the election time, they say dirty politics is dirty. Mm-hmm. So during the election, there was a lot of smear going on. Some of the things that they were talking about my driving background, saying that I don't have license, that I can't drive after certain hours, was all being put out. That I'm a gang member, 12-year gang member.
And what gang would that be?
I'm from King Kennedy. I'm a king.
We are not a gang.
Not a gang member. No, I was a gang leader. That's what the thing said. The gang
Lord
leader, as if I was running everything and making people do it. Some of the things, even on a driving background, when you see some of the ordinances, my name is Richard A. Starr for a reason. My dad's name is Richard Starr, in which he would be coming home in April. So,
that was
so some of the things were, some of the things they were throwing out just to paint an image of negative. I don't want to say who camp was doing it or not, but it was amazing that during this election it came out. I did ask a question. I did ask Ms. Cleveland, was her camp involved? She said no. So, it is what it's going to be. But at the same time, idols become your rivals sometime. And in order for us to progress in our neighborhood, in our community, and move into that positive direction for our neighborhood, we have to understand when it's time to
let go,
and move on. But at the same time, at the same time, it's going to be a time when it's going to be another young Richard Starr who's ready, and I'm going to be able to say, young brother or a young sister, this is how we do it. You ready? You want it? Let's go. And support them so they can take the generation to the next level. And sometimes some people don't understand what it takes for us to grow. And I'm not going to sit here and badmouth anyone, because at the same time, the residents of Ward 5 know the facts and know the truth, and they did vote who they thought was the best candidate at that moment, at that time of last
Ward
election.
5 ain't doing.
And at the same time, I'm respected.
Let's get on Ward 5. First of all, let me go back. Ward 5 have it's 13,652 registered voters in Ward 5. I give and take, I say probably, I'm just hypothetically speaking, I would just say probably 100 of them locked up, 100 of them dead, 100 of them don't live here no more. You know what I'm saying? So I just take off 652 of y'all, but we're going to stick with the 13,000. 13,000 people are registered to vote in that area. Let's break down the tally. And I want to ask you about these two. Okay. Phyllis had 1,011 votes. You had 802 votes, and it was 2 overvotes and 135 undervotes. First of all, what is overvotes?
So that is those who, when you say over and undervotes, are people who voted for different issues in the election, and then they chose not to vote for that city council race.
So you mean to tell me, let me add this right. Out of 13,813 people voted. 1,813 people voted.
Correct.
That is a crying. It's a crying out now. It's a crying out shame. Shame on the people that voted. But I don't want to hear one complaint that what President Trump about to push, if he can. Not saying that all y'all is on welfare, but the things he doing for SNAP, that's gonna hit a lot of people.
And just to get into even to talk about that, what people gotta understand and what we have to educate our people in Cleveland and our local is about local politics. When you involve local politics have more of an impact on your day-to-day life than you really will ever think. Like some of the policies, some of the legislation that are passed down through local politics will affect the day-to-day life of residents. So when we have these low numbers in our mayor race or our city council races and things like that, it hits us heavily. And then even with leadership, you have to take leadership. Even though you're an elected official, it's your job and your obligation to get more people to understand why the importance of voting. These new millenniums, babies, we have to get involved. And, it was just not too long ago we was the real young people, and our parents were voting. And you think about the movie Selma and the past of what it took for us to have this right to be able to fill out a piece of paper to be registered to vote, and for us not to exercise our right to vote at times is disturbing. But who is pushing that agenda to teach and educate our residents, our young people, as well as all residents, the importance of voting. You know, some people just say, I don't vote because I just don't get into politics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't get into the next generation of your children. You don't get into what's going to be happening to you as far as, you know, having to hustle or grind to get it to the next level. But you need to get involved, because at the end of the day, politics not going nowhere. Your community leaders, your activists not going nowhere. But at the same time, you need to get involved. It's time for a generation to come help and go over it. And you think of our ancestors and our elders in our community. I talk to a lot of seniors, and they say, hey, they ready to pass the torch, but they ain't gonna just pass it to nothing. We have to get involved to learn what's going on, understand what's going on, so they can, help us. And there's nothing like talking to a senior who can break down your entire ward and just tell you how it was before and how it is now and compare. It's like mind and breathtaking. And, our seniors make sure they vote because they understand what they went through in order for us to have this right, and we need to exercise our right to vote as a whole city, as a whole nation, country.
Well, that's one reason why I started this, because I just feel like the millennial, this youth that's coming up, I have a love and hate relationship with them. I hate them, but I love them at the same time. Because one thing about them, they stand strong and do whatever comes to their mind, whether it's good or bad. Now, it's just like if you had some good people in their ear to turn them in a different way, especially our young black brothers and sisters, it would be so powerful. Like, it's so much talent, so much going on down the way. Like, I can have a conversation on 30th about politics with some dudes standing on the corner, and you wouldn't even think they knew anything about it, and they a beast about it. They watching, they paying attention. They paying attention, but they not engaging. You know what I'm saying? Because they never had nobody tell them, you know what? I can see you being the councilman. You know what? I can see you being the mayor. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can see you running for a district and doing this and doing that and change. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to look at it like, why am I starting this? You know what I'm saying? My hardest thing is with prison reform and things like that they doing, and how the system can just railroad a child. But you see how they giving this the thug, because y'all call everybody else, he's a thug. And now all of a sudden he's mental this and mental that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a parent. Like, you don't get those views when if it was people of our color would have shot up a school. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we have to stay on them. We have to keep engaged. And it's time for some of these officials, like you said, it's time for you to pass the torch, Miss Phyllis Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? It's time for fresh blood. It's time for, she is in the older era. She don't understand and can't. I'm gonna say she can't understand because I don't really know her, but I just know most people don't understand us in this generation. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't understand our parents. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a triple effect. And I just think like it's people that need to sit down. When I look on TV and I turn on CNN and I see Nancy Pelosi and I see Chuck Schumer, all them people, like, y'all can barely. Well, she stood up for 8 hours the other day to talk. I would have been walked up out of there. You could tell me I don't even want to hear nothing for 8 hours. People sitting there falling asleep. But you got people like her, these older politicians. Like, why is there not? Okay, a president can only be a president for 8 years. Why is it that these people can sit on there? I think Maxine Waters was in for 20-some years.
We have some sitting.
20. How can you? You mean to tell me ain't nobody could have beat this lady?
So when you have the, so I have I'm in between on both of those, because, say for instance, you get it to a point where you have to, when someone beats that lifelong sitting council person, and then next you know, you put a 2-term limit on them running. All right, you got to think about that first 4 years, they are putting things in place to help the ward. Then by the second term, they starting to actually implement everything and getting the thing rolling. And now you're telling me it's over with. So as a resident, you're like, man, this councilman such and such was really great, but then he turned out. So then you have that, but then you have also some ones who may get involved and they know that the population is not voting, ward is not voting, people are not engaged. So if I just keep my 1,000 or keep certain amount of few votes that are rocking with me happy, then therefore I don't care what else is going.
You
What
know,
I don't
I
have to
never
do
even, and I never even thought it.
So,
you know what? That is what it is.
So therefore, you may get someone who, you look at some of the other wards in Cleveland. You see some of the other wards. Take for instance, like Ward 6. They had about 4,000 or 5,000 people voted. About 5,000 voted, and then you take a Ward 4, you get about 6,000 to 7,000 votes. Then you go to the West Side's wards, and you get 6,000 or 7,000 people vote, even though they may have 12 or maybe 15,000 registered vote, but that's a nice different number instead of 2,000 or 1,000 people just engaged. And what happens is you look at the leadership of that council person that probably got voted in since 1970s. You look at Ken Johnson, who's been there since the 70s. And you wondering like why people are keep voting, but then you also got to think about it. How come he's still getting 3,500 votes? What is going on? How you want to look and dive into what he does for the community. And I'm not saying that I'm on so much so supportive of Mr. Councilman Johnson or not, but I'm just saying you have to look at what goes on in different neighborhoods, and you have to model. Sometimes you ain't got to rewrite the script. You got to see what's going on to help this community. Why isn't all of our wards in Cleveland not so great or viewed as a great city or a ward to live in, like a Soul and a Beechwood? What makes the difference between a Beechwood and what people say a Cleveland Ward 5 or down the way? What makes Beechwood feel that they're so superior or so better than us? And you have to think about like what are we doing in place, what is being implemented for us, and you may get to something like this. You look at the sports. You had Maryland Sterling who won their basketball team, and they went undefeated. And then you have the Renegades who went on the national and played down in Florida and placed third in the entire country. And then you look at the East Tech basketball teams. They both win four back-to-back city championships. And you say, where's the highlight of that? Okay, we wait till election time to let them walk in a parade, but then you don't have the entire team. We should be celebrating Black excellence with our youth as well as our residents all the time. All the time, and things like that is in place. But at the same time, we have to, you have to do a SWOT analysis of the whole entire war and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is where our strength is. This is our weakness, opportunity, and threats, and come up with what an ideal war should be for Ward 5. And like I said, it's time for a positive change.
Oh, the most definitely is. Could you explain to people what exactly do a council person do? So everybody can start thinking about, is your councilwoman or man, is they being held accountable? Is these things happening in your ward? This is the person that can do this. This is the person. So could you explain to the people what it is that a council?
Just to break it down, because a council person does a lot for your ward. Their job is to write legislative, come up with ordinance, and agree and vote on different things for the community. Prime example is something such as housing development, structure development, businesses inside of the ward, economic development for the ward, as well as creating jobs and opportunities for residents in the ward. Those are some of the things that a council person oversees, as well as support the initiative for your ward. The council person isn't just someone who comes, shake hands and everything. They do the grit work and the groundwork in order for us to have things in our community. So when you say some streets is not being repaired,
I was just about to get on that.
I mean, like you have streets and potholes not being repaired. You should be able to call your council person, and they can.
I almost feel and met the devil in East Cleveland.
Yeah, so then you
about them potholes.
Yeah, so then your council.
So those
person,
are the person that can.
You can call your council person. The council person should be able to make a call and get that taken care of.
So like how like you go in Solon, okay, like say if you go in I love the way Crocker Park look. Yeah. How the streets got the nice flowers, the nice poles. Are they the persons that can get this up?
Yes.
Oh no.
Why
we can't have that look?
So and anybody who want to learn more about politics or anything, city council meets every Monday around 7:00 down at City Hall. It's open. All you need is just take your ID, sign in, and you will hear a lot of ordinance and learn a lot of different things.
What they voting.
Yeah. So when you get to hear what they voting on, who voted on what they voted against, what they voted for, And sometimes you got to understand what we need to do for our community. And when you have problems or concerns and need some support in your community, you should be able to call contact your council person, whether it's office and everything. And that council person should, I believe personally, should be contacting you back within at least a reasonable 48 hours. Like,
because I think the inner city, and especially that ward, it needs a facelift. Because when you get past, well, it depends on what side you're on. Because when you come past East 22nd, it's over with. But everything else there, but when you go to Tri-C, that's looking nice. Coming off the highway, that's looking nice. But when you go down here, it's just terrible. Like, why can't our streets look presentable? Why can't our streets have hanging basket flowers, all this nice, to make it nice? Why we can't have that?
We should have it, and I believe we have it, and that's all up to leadership. And it's all about us coming together and saying the time is up. And what I mean by that, coming together, and we have to exercise our right to vote.
So are you going to be going to any of the meetings?
Oh, definitely. So right now, after the election, obviously that was in November, a couple months ago. I've returned back to working at the Boys and Girls Club, doing some different work. My plan and goal is to sit down with my team, organize a team, make sure we sit down and figure out what's next for us. We want to make sure we continue to serve. Like I told everyone, this ain't the first or last time you hear from Richard Starr. We're going to continue to do the work that we're supposed to do. And guess what? And we're going to set the standards, and we're going to push the envelope and everything that needs to be pushed. There's a lot going on in our ward. There's a lot of gun violence, a lot of deaths, a lot of houses being broken into, lack of new development, and things like that. We need to organize and come together and figure out what's the solution, and stop not just naming the problem. Let's bring these solutions and hold these people accountable, or we're going to do the work ourselves, because we're way much stronger when we come together, and it speaks volumes. Because the most interesting thing is, during my election time, I didn't plan to run for election until February of 2017, and
so you didn't even have enough time.
Yeah, so
Why do you think you didn't get? Why do you think you didn't reach the 1,800? Because the other people evidently, whatever with them. But why don't you think? Why I can't even get it. I'm so sorry. Why don't you think that you didn't get the enough votes from people?
So when you think about a race or an election, it's not just an easy process. It's not. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And if it was easy, I wouldn't want it. I want to work for something. And at the same time, within that certain time period of 10 months or 9 months of garnering and getting your name out and showing who you are and proving who you are, because people not understand, sometimes you have name recognition, but your name recognition isn't that great until it's time to run for election or something like that. So people may know of or knew a Richard Starr from doing the work in the community, but what's the next step? Do you know Richard Starr as far as doing the politic work? What work have he done with the politics? So a lot of people probably didn't know who I was, but at the same time, a lot of people probably voted because they either sick of things that's going on in the community, but also they may vote it because they're like, hey, Richard Starr is someone that we would support. But at the same time, the reason why I wasn't able to reach the masses of everybody, the timing, as well as organizing a structuralized team more in place to help.
So did you actually go to all those different places? Did you do door to door?
I did door to door. We did some door knocking, some lid dropping, which is putting door to door, putting literature on people's doors. We did some robocalls. We did some things to get people involved. When you look at the numbers and the history of people running in Ward 5, some of the races don't be close. Sometimes Ms. Cleveland gave out some whoopings to some people, some different candidates. But then also, in the tight races, you always can tell where the tightness is. You think about
that was really a close call.
Yeah.
That was a real close call. Seeing it all, who had did it. So, say if you do run 4 years from now, so that's 2020.
Yeah, 2021.
What would you do different that you didn't do in 2017?
Something that I would do more. Definitely, if I decide to run again, it would, after meeting with the team, it will definitely be an active plan earlier than the 10 months.
Definitely.
It was a lot of people, a lot of residents.
That wasn't working out.
Yeah, a lot of residents.
They wait a minute, where you come from? You came out the blue.
Yeah, and a lot of residents. I decided factor was a couple different elders and seniors said, Richard, might as well run now. It's time. You got a son, and when you talk to some seniors who
Wisdom.
who just, raised you and said, like, Rich, yeah, we need you. And you should run. You can do it, son. And that was the deciding factor, like, yeah, it's time. And then President Obama, on his farewell address, he said, if you're tired of the politicians and the things going on in your community and you're not satisfied, you get you a clipboard, get you some signatures, and you run. And that right there was like, oh, he was talking to me, and that helped me decide, like, it's time to go. And that's when I started getting on the doors, the team knocking, and the team just, even though everyone felt like it was a loss, not all losses is a loss, because sometimes you learn more, and
it's never a loss, it's a learn.
Yeah, it's a lesson, big lesson learned. And being able to run and being able to connect with residents that I'm still in contact with, and just to help them out with different things and support them and get involved, it just shows you a different realm of how you could get more involved in the community. So right now, I do not know if I'm going to run again, but at the same time, Richard Starr is still going to continue to do the work in Ward 5 as well as the worker in the city of Cleveland to help support everyone.
I think my opinion, just my opinion, I think you should run again. And I think if you do run again, you will win. And I think you should use everything that you had from last time and make it bigger and better. I think you should stay engaged with the community, Ward 5, and also just Cleveland, period, to let them know, hey, I'm serious. Just because I didn't win don't mean I'm going back to closing my doors. Hey, I'm done with this, that. I think that you should win. I think it need to be fresh blood throughout the whole political world, period. You know what I'm saying? Everybody tired of the same old. I'm just not getting into politics, and I watch, and I'm reading up, I'm studying up on different things. They still arguing about the same thing they was arguing about 30 years ago. Like, I mean, if y'all can't get it done within 30 years, it's time for to get some new people in here. Yeah. Like, clearly, it's like a big circus.
Lately. Yeah.
And but they get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars while the people in the community is still suffering. The people, because down the way is suffering real bad. Like, where is the people down the way, the council, whoever? It's like it's time for y'all to come on out and, like, engage, because this youth, anything they pick up on, they running with it.
Yeah.
Until they crash.
And that's terrible.
Then everybody want to point the finger, blame the child, blame this, but then when you take the layer off the child, then you understand, oh, this is why they do this. Parents, no fathers, mother, being molested, being left alone, no one caring for them, and this is what happens. And then you have people that look at them like they just a evil monster.
Yeah, and just judging a book by its cover. Rather not sitting down or opening that book. And that's some things that go down in our community, and that's sad, and it shouldn't be that way. That kid is acting out, that kid is crying out for help, and that was just the ways that kid is showing you. You should take a liberty to do that. Like, you think about a kid who probably having a rough day at school, and I think about the work that I do at the Boys and Girls Club. When that kid come into the club, and that kid is angry, and first thing a staff member should do is like, hey, how you doing? Ask that kid how's their day going. Because then you sit down and you find out the kid was mad because their mom didn't leave the $2 on the table before she went to work, and then sign their permission slip so he could go on a field trip. Then they get to school, the security guard cracked the joke on his jacket. Then once the security guard cracked the joke on the jacket, he went to class, mad at the teacher because he didn't bring his homework because he forgot, because he was mad at the field trip. And then next you know, he get into a cracking jokes in the cafeteria, now a fight, now the kid is suspended. On the way home, stopped up at the club, and next you know, I feel that since we sat the kid down, now I found out, like, all this happened, and then nobody asked you how your day was. All it took is for that security guard or someone out of his day just to say, how you doing? And that kid probably would have told you that they were mad at their mom, and then, you could probably help that kid, and that kid wouldn't be in the predicament that they are in.
Well, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I think everything will work out. If God say run.
Yeah.
Now, I want to touch on some stuff that's happening on the rural forum. As you know, the other day, day before yesterday, it was a mass, I can't even get it out, a Florida shooting that one gunman, one 19-year-old, killed 17 people. Now, listen, these kids just going to school and all of a sudden they doing what they supposed to do and get killed. But this is my thing. I want to step back and look at this because a lot of stuff been coming out about this. First of all, the guy, Nicholas Cruz, he was reported to the FBI twice. He came on somebody's YouTube page and said he's going to be a famous school shooter. He was saying it in school. The school told, I think, the security people, don't let him in the school with a book bag. And just a few minutes ago, I just learned right before I came on that the FBI, somebody else was notified about him. No, sorry. 2 tips was sent in about him. Now, I just want to take it back before I can even get to this. First of all, politicians, they having a field day with this because they talking about gun reform. Republicans, they want their guns. Democrats saying take it. This is my whole thing on this. I think people should be allowed to have their guns. But I think it shouldn't be that easy to obtain a gun.
Yes.
Everybody want to say, don't take the guns away from us, this, that. But here it is, Obama put in place. This would have stopped him from getting a gun. Obama put in place that if for mental ill people, you got to go through some other kind of background check or something like that to try to make it hard for them to get it. Donald J. Trump, that's in the office now, undid what he put in place. Now this is what I don't. It's 3 things going on because the RNA, they fund the Republican Party. They biggest funder.
Yes.
So it's like leave them alone and their guns. This is my thing. I think the RNA, HIPAA, which that is people like health people, about your health information that know everything about your health, and Congress need to sit down and have a talk because I don't think it should be easy for an 18-year-old to walk in the store and get what is this? A AR-15 rifle that when you press it one time, 20 bullets coming out.
So, my thoughts and prayers are with the victim down in Florida.
Yes.
Like that was just a tragic that I think should have and could have been prevented. And it's just sad that we living in a day and age where things like this is constantly happening and often in our community. And you think about the gun reform and the platform. What you got to understand is our Constitution, how long ago it was written, may need some more revision. You got to think about the culture that we living in and some of the things that are going on. And it takes a sit down and some serious discussion with open-minded elected officials and politicians to be able to come up with the better solution to help save our kids. When you think about the fact that 19-year-old was able to purchase a gun, it only took him 10 minutes to do a background.
He couldn't even get his license that quick enough to get a gun.
So it took 10 minutes to do it. You get a 10-minute background check to get the AR-15. It take 10 minutes to get the AR-15 to go through a background check to get it. So there's not even a thorough background check of everything about that individual who purchased that gun.
Guns like this, I don't care. If people want to buy them, I don't, everybody like their guns. I don't care. And they saying I don't say take the guns away because I'm a convicted felon. I can't have a gun, but I think I need a gun because I need a gun for people like them. So I can't protect myself because I'm a convicted felon. But you got lunatics out here that's getting AK-47s within 3 minutes, killed 17 people, and would have killed more if the guards and some of the teachers protected some of the students that end up call themselves running, but was running straight into him. Now, this is the thing I don't understand about the FBI. Because I'm gonna say it, I don't care how much backlash I get. The blood is on the FBI hands. They claim that they couldn't find out who he was. Now, hold on. If I walk out this door right now and say I get knocked with an ounce of heroin on me, and the FBI come see me, and I say so-and-so, they getting all kind of warrants, FISA warrants. They get the phone tapping. They gonna tell me they couldn't get his IP address. How y'all get? That was the weakest, lamest excuse. The FBI failed them 17 family members. And if I was them family members, I'd sue them. I would sue them because there's no way possible. The FBI know everything in the world. It's nothing that y'all can't obtain. And then they try to say it's certain guidelines that they have to go by. I guess they consider that as something low level. But people, listen, they gonna smoke the stuff regardless. But that's more important than somebody saying they're going to shoot up a school.
And that's where we have as people, as people and residents of the United States, just overall in this country, we have to really, really think about and get involved in voting. Don't forget, you can forgive, but don't forget. When you think about some of these people in place to help make better decisions and choices and votes for us, you got to think about what they have and what they haven't done. And when they do something, they should be held accountable, just like we are held accountable.
The FBI need to be held accountable. They failed them people. It was so many things. Okay, if y'all say that's not low enough for y'all to investigate and this, that, you at least could have zeroed in on who he was.
And pass it on.
Pass it on to Florida local authorities. Hey, y'all, we got some information. This guy talking about this, that. Watch your backs. Yes. Watch him. Get involved. We can't do too much because he ain't really bust a hard move. That's all they had to do.
And sometimes that is the truth.
And he already had the school saying, he can't come with a book bag.
There's a reason. And then also even with the school saying that, you want to look into what else did the school do as well as that saying that you can't come up with back. I see it went to the FBI level, so I trust and believe that the school pass it on to higher authority as well. But it's like, what is the rules or what is things in place for when something like this happens? Say, for instance, we see that in a school and the school reporting that this kid is saying he want to shoot up the school and he having, mental problems and things like that. But then we saying, what are we doing next? So what is in place next after you report it? What's the follow-up? What do you do to make sure that these threats that this kid is saying are dealt with? I know kids, or I know people will say a lot of things all the time, but I always believe if you said it, you meant it. And I really, really...
They should have done... Listen, he done lost his father 15 years ago. He just lost his... That was his...
foster mom.
Foster mom. So who is his real mom? You know what I'm saying? So, and then he got the kids in the school. They was bullying him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They was bullying him. And so he got all that. Then he angry. He out here shooting squirrels, killing cats. Practicing. I'm telling you something. I learned this in psychology class. They start off small like that. They start off killing cats and animals, and they grow to bigger people. Grow to grown folks, to adults, to a real human being. So all this could have been prevented. But another thing that ticked me off. Now, I know you get a public defender in court or whatever they're supposed to represent you, but the way she consoled him was like a slap in the face to his family, rubbing his back, saying he feel this, that. Look, this ain't the time right now to hear anything from him. These families just woke up without their child within less than 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Don't nobody give a damn about how he feel right now. And we don't even want to hear that. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on is this, that I feel like America need to wake their eye up. Quit thinking everything happening in the hood. Quit thinking everything, because ain't damn mass shooting ever happened in the hood. In no project schools, no less private schools, and you know where they at, in the suburbs. But y'all got metal detectors at East Tech. You got a police at East Tech. I don't know why they need to put metal detectors in all schools, because this is like the new thing. This is what we facing right now. So I feel like metal detectors need to go in all the schools. Armed police guard. Because let me tell you something, if you would have brung his ass at East Tech, I bet one of them little boys in the club would have had something for his ass. Mm-hmm. And that's sad to say, but you can't this shouldn't have never happened when this was reported to the authorities so many times.
And history keep repeating itself. This is not the first mass shooting we've had.
No, because you got somebody else that's looking at him right now, plotting, want to be the next.
And that's sad that we keep having these happen and we still have not addressed the issue of what's going on and how these people are able to get these guns and use these guns to their advantage. And we need to, like I said, the Constitution was written in a different time period versus with the time period that we live in. So some of the revision and some of the things need to be worked together. And everyone need to come together and solve this problem and help correct these issues that's going on in our, not just our community, but in our country. Mm-hmm. And it's sad and it's terrible that we have people who are in this country have to bury their loved ones because of a certain situation that has happened, and it's unfortunately, and like I said, my thoughts and prayers are deeply with those who
it was some people that had
like
2 kids. One of them didn't come home. I mean, that's just hard. But you know what it did do? It sparked them kids. Guess what? All them kids that they interviewing. Guess what they said? They want to be more engaged in politics. One boy said, "Now I know this my calling. I know this what God told me to do because it has to be a change. Because it shouldn't be that easy
to get a gun."
Like I said, I don't care about you having a gun, having your guns. That's fine. I know people that really like to shoot guns. You know what I'm saying? I personally don't have a problem with that. My only problem is it shouldn't be that easy to have guns. One of the a politician that was on Fox and Friends the other day, I can't recall his name. He had brung up some ideas. Now it was kind of crazy coming from the conservative side, talk about some kind of ideas with gun control, because they don't want, leave our guns alone. So he said that it's really not, well, I think he said only in 11 states, but the other states, if I lose my gun, I have to report it. If I sell my gun or give it to my friend or something, I have to report it. You know what I'm saying? Those things should be in place. It shouldn't, if somebody, they gonna have to involve HIPAA in this. They trying to. That's not. I don't see it as directly violating your constitutional rights. But I don't think somebody that's mentally ill, nobody mentally ill need to have a gun. Nobody. I think you need to be. You have to have a mentally ill. You have to be mentally stable to sign up for the military. Why you can't be mentally stable to buy a gun?
Like I said, everyone gotta come together, sit down and say, this ain't nothing. This ain't the first time it happened.
And the FBI, I want to hear that crap. Y'all couldn't find them off an IP web address. Oh, I want to say something else, but I ain't even gonna go there. Them people, y'all know how to get people IP address, so y'all can quit the acts with that part. Don't nobody want to hear that. Y'all could have found out who he was. Like you said, he got a weird. How he spell his name? First of all, y'all see this? Nicholas with a K. Ain't that many Nicholas with a K's. And you know what I mean? You could have zeroed down on this real. You could have zeroed down on this real. Real. It just don't. And then on his Instagram page, Facebook page. Comments, got all these guns, all this rhetoric, the talk he was talking. I reposted this white guy on my page today. They took it down though, of him saying how he hate niggers and I got this some type of tomahawk and this. He got all these guns in his hand. Talking about don't come near him. What he gonna do? They took that down with the quickness. But you got people like him sitting up here spewing like this was gonna happen. If they didn't catch him, this was gonna happen. And I think the FBI, y'all be focused on the wrong thing. Y'all focus on drugs. Okay, get the drug, whatever you want to say about the drugs, honey. But when people get to talking about they get to shooting up school, and like one of them mothers came on TV, her daughter died. She said President Trump. What if that was Bryson? Cool. This ain't politics. What if that was Bryson?
And then something that I learned from when I was in college, when you involve in ethics, bring it to your home. When you're making a decision about ethics, bring it on. What happened if that was your child? Was that one of your siblings? How would your response be to this? And sometimes you have to use that analogy just so you can understand what's going on. We got to get out of this. This the hood. It don't happen in the hood. No, it can happen anywhere. And we keep seeing that happen. And like I said, everyone needs to come together and figure out solutions. We know this is a problem. What's the solution? What can we do? What should we be doing? And, we shouldn't be having these, all these funerals got to take place now. And, these burials, and we got to have these memories because, we didn't do right, or the leaders didn't come together and figure out a solution. And that's what I'm tired of. And that was one of the things that make me do the work that I do every day, just so we can help protect our community and our kids and our loved ones.
Yeah, I think one thing my pastor always say, like, when he have funerals or when people come in his line and talk to him, he tried to get in them to feel them. Like, make it like it's his son in the casket. Like, it's his, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you can adapt to these types, because people don't understand something until they go through it.
Yes.
Then it's like, oh, wow. Now you understand. I mean, people don't want to understand how other people feel. Like at first, like I ask my guests in the beginning, but I forgot to ask. I always ask them, what political party you with. See, me, I was a Democrat. I was just conditioned to be a Democrat. Everybody always told me vote Democrat. They from the floor, blase. Then, I'm looking at the Republicans. But I can understand the Democrats. I can understand the Republicans. But me, as far as I'm changing my party in May, they said I have to wait to May to the primaries because I'm going independent. I'm not voting for just because you're a Democrat. I'm not voting just because you're a Republican. I'm voting on a person. I don't care what party you with.
So right now, I am a registered Democratic voter.
You are?
Yes.
Why?
I grew up learning more about Democrats as well as the fight that Democrats have fought for residents as well as people in, not the middle class, but more so those who are working day in and day out. I could say within both Democrat and different parties that we all have some problems that we need to do. Mm-hmm. I do feel that Democrats need to come together instead of sometimes always pointing out the faults of others to make yourself look better. Meaning, sometimes you got to stop trying to say, I'm trying to win, so I'm a dog whoever, and not come together. And that sometimes will cause people to say, rather, I'm going to just be independent because, when I choose a side, they start doing things wrong. So
yeah, I don't like the bickering between back and forth because I look at both parties like y'all both
going back and forth.
Can
So that and I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, I want to be independent because y'all both going back and forth, not agreeing on anything, and then sometimes you say the Democrat not agreeing together and the Republicans not agreeing together, and the next it's just a big mess.
Because I feel what both parties saying about both parties, Republicans feel like liberals, they feed the people nickel and diamonds. They government fund them with everything just to get them by just a little bit, but not actually giving them that jump start. And then you got the Democrats feel like the conservatives, they just for the rich, they don't care nothing about this. But then you have conservatives saying like, hey, we trying to get you something so you won't never have to depend on the government. That's one thing I do like about them. Like they ain't for like just keep pushing all this low level stuff on them, keeping them suppressed, and then they always got to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? They always, instead of them being, hey, get out here, get up off your butt, get on your feet, get your own. Not saying that Democrats don't do that, but as well. But as I'm looking, as I watch on TV and as I watch here, as I watch some of the legislations that both parties is trying to push. So I just said, you know what, I'm going independent. I don't want to be affiliated with no party. I want to be affiliated with the person. I want anything that I check on the box. Because, I used to go on the ballot, straight Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Straight. Okay, when you walk out there, they give you the Democrat paper. And, you go in there, you press all them on there. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to really focus on what is this levy on? Yes. What is this issue on? What is this person on? What is their background? What can they bring, how is that going to help somebody? Then when they get in, hold them accountable. Because I spoke on that the other day. You'll have to hold these people accountable. They get elected to serve you. Not they get elected and they just deal, you know what I'm saying? It ain't over when they get elected. It's not supposed to be like that. These people serve you. This is what they put in office for. And if they want to get in office and monkey around, don't want to pass nothing because they too much bicker and fight them, hey, just look at them like, I got you. Because the next 4 years, your ass out.
Forgive but don't forget.
Yeah. And I think people need to really just focus on that. You know what I'm saying? And get people more engaged. Talk to your kids about politics. Because I'm seeing all these kids on TV, like, they grieving, but now they engaged. Now they engaged. Now they want to be a part. Now they want to talk about legislation. You know what I'm saying? It just opened up. And I always say, people always say, well, why would God let this, you know what I'm saying? It's just like God make no mistakes. Things happen for a reason. It's a reason that this had to happen. And it's unfortunate them kids had to be a sacrifice like that. You know what I'm saying? But see, this may they rest in peace and everything, but it's deeper than that. And it go back to other issues that need to be addressed. And I think a lot of stuff going because Congress is shook up. The FBI already got they in enough deep water right now. And with this and what I've been complaining about the FBI, how y'all can just swoop up one person and one person get 50 more people 100 years. But here it is, y'all couldn't even get one person up off. You couldn't get this one person up off the street, but you got 50 black brothers up off the street real quick. Oh, they know where they at. They tap it in their IP address. I bet you they know their websites and they log in information and all that. I don't think that's fair. And y'all better wake up, get y'all people involved, run, do something. You can be the next judge. You can be you don't have to be what social media and everything pushing on you, reality stars, and you know what I'm saying? It's okay to be a politician. It's okay to be a police officer. You know what I'm saying? Because we need more police officers like us on the streets.
Yes.
Because they can adapt to us. We can't have somebody coming from Seoul and patrolling our area and can't even interact with the people. Then wonder why we. Yeah.
Scared to get out of the car. How you policing me?
And they weren't scared of him, but they were scared of him walking down the street with a bag of Skittles and some tea.
Yeah.
So I just think this is the eye opener for people, and I just hope that a lot of stuff change. And I hope, because we almost to our end, but I hope that you run again. Give it another try, and just my opinion, do a lot of foot groundwork. Try to, you already engaged, be more engaged, find out what Ward 5 people issues is. You can still help them do stuff like that now, even without you being a council.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta let people know, hey, I truly do care, because I'm gonna tell you what we is, and I can speak for the people. I'm tired of career politicians. I don't even want to talk. Look, I don't even want to talk to them type of people.
Time for change.
Y'all been up there 30, 40 years, ain't did nothing.
Whew.
It's time for a change. And if y'all don't get up and make a change, hey, we gonna be y'all, whoever on welfare, y'all gonna be getting them boxes in the mail with that cheese and that powdered milk that they trying to push off on us.
That is crazy.
They bringing old stuff. But see, that's gonna make people get up off their assets.
Assets.
Yeah, I ain't trying
assets.
I'm trying to stop from cussing, but trying to get people to get up off they, you know what?
Assets.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because when you don't need the government, you can move smoothly and move differently, but you can also go back and help people. Because once a person feel like you need them, then they start treating you like, oh, she need me. So let me I can say and do whatever I want. I can push this on them. I can take these programs from the kids. They don't care. They don't even vote. You know what I'm saying? We need to bring activities back down with all of you. We need to get them something to do. They bored. When boredom strikes, when I get bored, I get to staying anything.
Yeah.
Then I'm an adult.
And it causes
I ain't doing nothing illegal or bad, but I just get up like, oh my God, I'm bored. I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I got to do something other than what I'm doing because I'm bored. So I know that's what the youth is doing. So anything did you want to say last minute to the people? And what's your comeback? 2020 Richard Starr Ward 5. I don't care what he say. I'm announcing it right now. He's going to be back better, stronger than ever.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's an honor. Pleasure anytime to come and just talk. And
anytime you can come on here.
Thank you. And I just want to say, residents of Ward 5, residents of Cleveland, residents of anywhere in this country, exercise your right and vote. Get out and get involved in your community. Don't ever think that you have to be a certain age to get involved. There's no such thing as that. It's all about your heart, your desire, and follow your heart and do the things that you want to do for your community. I'm Richard Starr. This is not the first time you will hear from me or the last time you will see me. We're going to make some changes in Cleveland. We're going to help our community, and we're going to get involved. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. And for the Ward 5 residents, if you want to go see me, we're right at King Kennedy and the rec.
Yeah, boys.
I ain't been in there in so long didn't get one. I can't even think his name. Passed away. Tim. I'm like, oh Lord, I ain't been in here since I was like 13 years old. It brought back so many memories as a kid, like, because we used to walk. I was from 30th. We used to walk to King Kennedy all the time and just kick it in there. So yeah, we gotta grab our youth back.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Yeah, definitely gotta grab them back. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this edition with Street Politics with Talessia and great gentleman that's doing great things in the city of Cleveland, period, Richard Starr. I will have in the description box how you can follow him. Make sure you subscribe and tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see what's going on in the latest news. And also, I will be doing this thing called Go Sit in the Nearest Corner. So I'm going to have like a little corner thing. That's going to be a 30-minute segment where I just feel like some people, you need to call them out. And I will be doing that. Thank you guys. Until next time, peace, love, and happiness.